guys were really able to make DeMar work during the season series with these guys, but the biggest thing is probably limiting his attempts. For a player that's so good at getting to his spots and getting his shot off, how tough is that to get the ball out of his hands?
Yeah, I mean, it's real tough. You got to find some things that's in the schemes and, just be more aggressive and just, like you said, try to limit his touches. I think is the best way to guard, a player like that is just try to make it hard on him, make every catch tough, make every attempt tough, nothing easy, and can't really give him any clean looks. Yeah, we got our work cut out for us, but, I think, having O.G helps and just having a back line that we can keep funneling guys and just trying to make it tough on them.
Is it kind of fun finally to have like an opponent to dig in on and really kind of get to that next second or third level of game plan in full sense?
Yeah, I think it should bode well for us to just be able to lock into one thing and have a couple days and let the coaches come up with the schemes and the game plans, and we just try to go out and execute as best we can. So it's not exactly the playoffs, but similar type of preparation. Getting ready for win or go home.
I mean, that was always when you guys have been good in the past, you really adapt that digging in on teams and personnel is a little different. Do you feel like the level of strengths are still part of your makeup, your characters?
Yeah, I mean, I think our coaching staff is, one of the top in the league in terms of preparation and game planning and just finding different things, having adjustments ready on the fly. So you got to give them a ton of credit for that. It's up to us to go out there and try to execute, as best we can. So looking forward to it. Should be a fun one.
Fred, when you look at the way the play-in is structured, with Wednesday and then potentially you win Friday and potentially Sunday, what are going to be the keys in terms of that quick turnaround and that kind of grueling schedule?
Just win on Wednesday.
I think a couple of really good defensive guards in Caruso and Beverly. How do you attack them and make sure you get your wings that may have an advantage, more opportunities, I guess?
Yeah, I think, the game will flow however it's going to flow. I think there's definitely opportunities for us with some mismatches on size in terms of, down in the post. We've had some success over the years. Yeah, they're going to throw different things. I mean, they're preparing for us as well. So they got, two of the better on-ball defenders in our league, and Caruso and Pat Bev. So obviously they present a challenge there, but we got, some big wings that could finish in the paint and, make things tough. So it'll be a fun little chess match to see, where we can be effective at. But, it's something that we're looking at for sure.
You also have a couple of big wings who can handle the ball, especially play off you and whoever else out there. That's got to be a huge advantage to not having those on-ball defenders defending the ball.
Yeah, I think, again, we'll see how I think all of our games with them this year have been a little different. We had a different team. They had a different team. It was a back-to-back one time. So the last time we played, it was, back and forth pretty much the whole game. So, yeah, we'll see how it plays out. And, again, you take whatever the defense gives and see how they come out and the way that they want to guard, and we'll have to adjust to that.
Levine's been pretty ridiculous since the All-Star break. You got a lot of reps against him during the year. What's steps 1 and 2 toward limiting what you can get?
Yeah, I think, again, similar to DeMar in terms of just, try not to let him catch it, right? It's the way he shoots and his athleticism, getting downhill, getting to the paint. You just try to make it tough on him, make it uncomfortable, and show him multiple bodies, show different defenders, and just having the help ready to go. So, those two guys you don't really guard with just one person. It takes a, 5-man group, and, see what we come up with here in the next couple of days. But definitely I think limited touches and attempts is, your best way to start on those guys.
It's been a while since you had a win-or-go-home game, especially here in Toronto, like you have in the past. How helpful is that crowd in this type of game?
Yeah, like I said, it should be crazy, man. It should be really fun atmosphere. This type of time of the year and these type of circumstances, I think brings the best out of our crowd, and having that home court advantage has been one of the more special places to play in the NBA over the last decade. So, especially around this time of year, it's just up to us to go out there and give them something to cheer about, and hopefully we can use that to our advantage.
Fred, do you notice any extra urgency or extra focus in practice, or are you just going into these playing game for your team?
Yeah, I mean, I think we've been in this mode for a little bit, and it doesn't really, show in all the performances that we put together over the last couple of weeks. But I think the urgency's been there. I think, a little bit more focus and just understanding what's at stake. It's all business from here.
How do you feel physically compared to this time last year? You talked about how you wanted to do things differently with your body this year. Obviously, there's no serious injury, but how are things physically?
Yeah, I'm in a good place. I'm in a pretty good place. I think last year was a little bit, of a mismanagement on my part. Like we've talked about that 1,000 times. But I think, right now, I feel good about where I am. I think if you don't have any bumps and bruises at this time of year, you probably haven't been playing or playing very hard. So definitely, nobody's 100% at this time of the year. But I'm feeling good going into, this last push for us.
OG led the league in steals. Do you think he's sort of that premier defensive player? What did you see the difference for him this year defensively?
I think he just took it more personal, and he went for it. So hopefully he gets, Defensive Player of the Year, all defense. He's definitely well deserving of it, and he's put on a lot of great performances for us, anchoring our defense and guarding the other team's best players. So he's more than deserving for sure.
Any particular thing you see that enabled the Bulls to be so good defensively, especially since the All-Star break, and adding back that probably helps, but anything else they're doing scheme-wise that comes up?
Well, I think Billy has been one of the better defensive coaches since he's been in the league, even from OKC. So they got a formula in the way they play and rotate, and they're really help oriented and sliding off the corners and making sure that the rotations are there. But adding Pat just helps, just your culture, talking, and just inspiring guys, and getting Caruso back healthy, sliding those two guys in on the defensive end. They got some young athletic guys coming off the bench that are pretty good as well. So they've been guarding, over the last couple of weeks. So we know that going into it.
What was DeMar like when you were early in your career when you played with him? He's known to be a pretty good vet. Was he nice to you or not?
Yeah, DeMar was real nice to me. He was a good guy. He's still a great friend of mine. Yeah, just a great teammate. We all look up to him, and he did a good job teaching us.
Is there anything he did that you kind of look back on? I think Norm took him suit shopping or something. Anything nice for you?
No, he didn't do anything nice like that for me.
OG, as a young defender coming into the league, being able to watch a gifted scorer like DeMar up close, presumably going against him in practice some as well, was that something that helped you at the time?
Oh yeah, definitely. Like just playing against him, he's a very patient player. So sometimes when I came in, I was definitely over aggressive. And, just batting for his head fakes and stuff, and just little tricks he had. I definitely learned from that.
And I mean, you guys as a team had success this year in limiting his touches and attempts.
Thanks, Josh.
How were you guys able to do that, and how difficult is that to do against a player that's so good at getting to his spot?
Just really just denying him the ball and just trying to force out his catches as far as possible. And just make him work for everything. Like, just make everything as difficult as possible. And it's definitely difficult versus a player like him. He's a great player with a bunch of different tricks and skills. And so it's just following the game plan, everyone being on the same page.
You mentioned the patience required to guard him. He's a guy who can make very difficult shots, and you have to guard against that. How difficult is it to stay disciplined and not necessarily bite on some of those fakes from those spots?
Yeah, it's definitely difficult because he'll pump it 3-4 times the same instance. Yeah. So just being disciplined and keep your hands up, keep your hands out. He's good at getting fouls, so just trying to force him to the most difficult shot possible. And if he makes them, that's what he does. So not being mad about that, just going on the next play.
You've held him to, well, you were part of holding him to 26 shots over like three games total, 14 points a game. Is it possible that, or are you expecting a different DeMar? Like he seemed to be more, in the regular season, he seemed to be sort of willing to let, okay, if you guys are going to pay this much attention to me, I'll just get rid of the ball. Are you expecting a different DeMar?
Yeah, probably more aggressive.
Yeah.
He'll definitely be more aggressive tomorrow or Wednesday. But just us doing the game plan and just trying to limit his touches and then force him out as far as possible. Just trying to make it as difficult as possible.
He was talking about how he saw basically three different guys, or is it basically the same, like, I mean, you trap them and, or you're there first and then you trap them and, you know?
Do I think that's true?
Yeah. And 3?
I don't think that's true, but everyone has their own opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah. But we're just trying to make it as hard as possible, and he'll adjust
Yeah.
as the game goes on, and then we might try something different. You know, he's a great player, so.
And is it, I mean, usually with guys, you can go tendencies and kind of take something away. Does he have tendencies, or is he so herky-jerky and sort of different all the time?
He has some tendencies. I won't say them, but
Yeah, no, I know.
but he can do everything. So just be on your toes against him. Be ready for whatever.
So, OG, I know you came into the season with some individual goals in terms of defense, defensive player of the year, all defense. What does securing the steals title mean to you? Is that something that you've looked at and thought about in the past as well?
No, it just came along with it. Just I've always been good at getting steals and being aggressive in the passing lanes and on and off ball. So I'm happy I was able to get that.
What kind of anticipation does it take to get those steals off the ball? Like what goes through your mind when a play's developing? You know when to shoot a gap or come around a guy? Walk us through that kind of process.
Oh, just reading the court, reading the play, reading the whoever has the ball, their eyes, just reading the next play.
OG, when it comes to the play-in tournament, the schedule's pretty grueling. Like you guys get 2 days to prepare for a win-or-go-home game, and then one day off, and then another game, and so on until playoffs. So, what are the challenges and kind of the keys to having such a short turnaround in between games?
I mean, just after game 1, just getting the recovery, going over the film, and getting ready for the next game. Like, it's the same for everyone else, though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's just what it is. So we just have to do it.
Is there any difference between kind of prepping for a play-in game versus a regular season game? Is there any added urgency or pressure?
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, versus a playoff game,
Or, sorry, a play-in game?
a playing game versus a regular season game.
Yeah, like,
Oh,
and
yeah.
your approach to prepping for it.
I mean, we have a couple more days to get ready for them. We have tomorrow as well, and then the next day before the game. So a little bit more extra time, and then just so more film, more, and they don't play any games in between then. So just whatever like video to go off of that's already there. So just going off that and then preparing the best we can.
What's the conversation like between you, or is there much conversation between you and DeMar, either on the court or going into a game like this? Like, do you hear from him beforehand, and you are pretty close off the court?
Oh yeah, we texted a couple days ago,
Yeah.
but
Is he reminding you that he kind of owes you one at this point, or?
no, he didn't say it. Like, he hasn't said that. He's just gonna try his best. I'm gonna try my best. Like we just both want to win.
Did you see that in the past? I've got a lot of fun having a couple days to prepare for an opponent. Is it when you dig down deeper in the team, you get the laser focus on them for 48 hours? Is it fun to cook that way?
Well, I think that, I do enjoy it. I think that you got to enjoy this time of year in any fashion that it's in. And I mean, I think in general we enjoy trying to put game plans together as a staff. And the challenge is always, you really got to. A little different now, right? Because you got to kind of make sure you're making your best option A's are ready to go and they're the right ones and all those kind of things. But yeah, we enjoy it for sure.
This team, the Bulls, have 2 very good on-ball backcourt defenders in Caruso and VanVleet. Your use of Pascal and Scotty and even Precious to bring the ball up, does that give you an advantage having big wings that they might not have size up with?
Well, I think that they've only, they've got those 2 guys. I think they do use some other guys sometimes in some defensive role situations. But yeah, I mean, I think that we're gonna, we think we have to be ready for everything. If they just, I think you got to imagine they're going to put some heat on our top scorers, right? Maybe good defenders, certain schemes, maybe some double teaming, all those kind of things that we got to be ready for. And you're right, though. I think we can bring it up not by committee or whatever, but we certainly start a lot of plays with a lot of different guys handling the ball. Yeah.
Fred, spoke about with both DeMar and Levine, it starts with denying touches.
Yeah.
Can you deny touches to two guys at the same time, or I mean,
No, I mean, yeah, I mean, I think probably limiting is maybe better than total.
Deny was probably my word.
That's okay, total. But yeah, I mean, I think that anytime, I mean, those guys both can really score. They're both really explosive. So whether it's them or whoever we'd be playing, I think we would always start out with trying to find the right matchups, right? Who can maybe limit some touches one-on-one. Make sure they don't just constantly have the ball easy, and that they're playing free and easy and getting to where they really want to get to free and easy. So I think it starts with some of that, yeah.
On the subject of matchups,
And probably ends with some of that too, late in the possession, sorry.
you guys threw a lot of different looks at DeMar this season, but OG spent quite a bit of time on him in that matchup. What did you like about what he was able to do in terms of kind of limiting his attempts and his pressure?
Yeah, I mean, I think that the biggest thing is, I mean, listen, DeMar can really score, as we know, and he can score guarded, right? So I think that the level of the contest and the level of where he starts from, number of catches, again, a lot of what we just talked about. I think OG does a pretty good job of zeroing in on that stuff, and you're not stopping him. You're not stopping him. Like, he's gonna find ways to score. It's just, can we make it tough over the course of the game and try to get some misses here and there and make sure we limit those misses to one-shot opportunities and all those things. So that's the big thing
This
that
might be
OG
more
does.
of a question for him, but for considering how crafty and gifted DeMar is as a scorer, for OG as a young player coming up under him, presumably facing him in practice, like, do you think that has an impact on a young player coming into the league, especially a player that has the kind of defensive tools that OG had at that stage?
Yeah, I mean, I think so. I mean, I think that, you're right. This is just me throwing my opinion for both OG and DeMar could probably answer this question a lot better, but I think there's certainly a respect there from OG, right? That he saw this guy in person every day, and we watch him score like crazy when you got him, and then when you play against him, you watch him do a lot of the same things. I think there's probably some level of mutual respect back from DeMar that OG was, he's grown a lot since probably he first saw him. So I think that's my thoughts on it, and you can ask those guys if you get a chance to before the game.
OG led the league in steals the first time around.
Yep.
He's ever done that. Was that a function, is it a combination of function of the way you play defense and his ability to anticipate stuff? Like, how would you sort of rationalize him getting to that number?
I would certainly, I think the answer is yes, but I would certainly lean that scale towards the OG side of things. I think he's just, we talked about yesterday, he's just really interesting and gifted at darting out of nowhere into passing lanes to get his hands on the ball and get steals, yeah.
Is that effective when you're guarding a guy like DeMar? Or can you gamble or anticipate?
Well,
Maybe let him slide to space? I don't know, is that?
no, I mean, I think that in all that stuff, I mean, gambling is not usually the greatest thing. What do they say? That's why they got air conditioning in the desert, right? Right? Gambling is usually but I think that if you weigh it out, there's a lot of times when the gamble gets the ball, so that stops the possession and gives us a 1-on-0 or 2-on-1 basket at the other end, so it like doubles its value, right? But then there's times too when you miss it and they're dunking or hitting a three, so then it considerably lessens its value, right? And I just think that weighing that all out in the big picture of a season is one thing, weighing it all out in the course of 48-minute game is another. And I just think that from my standpoint, I've kind of liked it. I think that, yeah, do we get beat on some of that stuff sometimes? Yeah, but not nearly as much as I think as the returns we get on it.
When you look at the structure of the play-in tournament, like the schedule really grueling. You only have 2 days to prepare for a winner go-home game, and then even if you win, another 1 day, and so on and so on. What kind of challenges does that present, and what are the keys in those short term?
Yeah, I don't mind it on this side of it. I think that I don't really know what the heck we'd be doing if we had more days before Wednesday, right? I think it's just right to kind of get really your kind of first step of preparation today, get a little bit of shooting and get in some of their sets and personnel things and all those kind of things, and then zero in tomorrow. You still get another shoot around on Wednesday morning if you want one. That's plenty. And then I don't really think you got to think about much after that. I think seems like the regular season, right? Game, travel, game, travel. Game, and then you get to stay put for a little while if you can make it that far. So I guess probably I like it here starting out. Maybe we can revisit it later on in the week. Let's hope so.
Would you do the same advanced scouting for the teams you may play? Not you specifically, but like
Yeah.
within the organization?
Yeah, so we're treating it just like we always would. There's a group of coaches working on Miami. There's a group of coaches working on Atlanta. They'll do a lot of the groundwork, legwork, prep work, and then hand it back to one of our front of the bench guys. If and when it gets there, yeah.
Why is OG, this is as it relates to Kamara as well, why is he so able to be aggressive? And his fouling numbers are pretty good. Like, I think he's had 12 in 3 games against Chicago, but considering who he's covering.
Yeah, I don't think he just he's not really ever in foul trouble. I think that's just again part of one of his characteristics that he knows. I don't think he fouls a lot. He knows when to, he knows how to use his body, not use his hands, use his size, all those kind of things. And even when he does get a few, they're usually like really accidental or something weird happen. Yeah, something weird happens where he ends up, he doesn't even almost see the play, and all of a sudden he's in it, and they end up calling it on him. I feel like I'm thinking about a lot of times when they do call a foul, him challenging. So he just doesn't foul, which is good. Yeah.
How would you describe what it's like to play in a must-win playoff or play-in game? Is it closer to a game 7, a game 1, a game 83? What is the sense you're getting from?
I know this is going to sound silly to you, but every game's must win. Every game we play, we're going out there to win. So we got another one in front of us Wednesday.
Pascal led the league in minutes for 2 seasons in a row. He became the first player since LeBron to do that. I know we look at minutes sometimes through a negative lens, but considering his story, how late of a draft pick he is, obviously someone you feel like you can't take off the court that much. Like, what does that say about his growth, that he's gone to the point where now he's on the floor more than any NBA player?
Well, I think he's grown a lot. Again, I don't know, but I think he probably had career numbers in a lot of things, right, this season. I think that there's still a lot of growth in him, too, right? So what does it say? Well, he's come from a first season of starting down to the G League, back up to starting to these kind of performances. So he's done a great job as far as continuing to develop but I would say I think there's still more room, more ceiling there for him to get to.